What's going on, everybody? For this video, I'm going to be taking a look at Apple Silicon. They finally released the first generation of Macs that have Apple Silicon. I was amazed at some of the functionality and the capabilities of how it's kind of evolved from the Intel chips to Silicon. But I have a few reservations about it. So with that being said, let's get this started. Now, Apple is calling the chip the M1 chip. Intel Macs need several chips in order to deliver its features. For example, the CPU, input-output, security, memory, Thunderbolt controller, etc. With the M1 chip, you're putting that all together onto one single chip. This will improve performance and have power efficiency. The M1 has an 8-core CPU, and that's broken down between 4 high-performance cores and 4 high-efficiency cores. The performance cores are for heavier tasks. For example, you're rendering a video on Final Cut Pro. And then you have the efficiency cores, which are for lighter tasks. Now for the efficiency cores, they apparently deliver similar performance to a dual-core MacBook Air of the previous generation. Based off of that sounds amazing. That just sounds amazing. If you're telling me that the efficiency cores is equivalent to that, and I'm assuming it's one of those cores that's equivalent to the dual core MacBook Air, and you put 4 of them in there, okay, you got my attention. M1 also has an 8-core GPU, but it also begs the question that if the GPU, everything is integrated onto the one chip, then you can't get an external GPU to work then. I assume that's the case, right? Like you kind of cut that out. I'm curious to see how that will play out for some people who rely on an external GPU. Apple has set the bar very high for themselves, and they're trying to make Intel sweat, and so far, they're doing a good job. Now, the first Mac that they revealed was the MacBook Air. With the M1 chip, the Air's CPU is up to 3.5 times faster, and the GPU is up to 5 times faster. The SSDs are up to 2 times faster. You can get up to 15 hours of wireless web browsing, up to 18 hours of video playback, and it's supposedly up to 2 times longer on a single charge for video calls. So basically, you're saying that this battery life has been optimized to the nines. One of the gripes that I have about the MacBook Air in 2020 is a 720p camera. Why is there a 720p camera? The price is coming in at $999 US. For Canada, it's $12.99. There was 2 surprises I had with the MacBook Air. The first one had to do with the fact that you have the ability to edit 4K ProRes on a MacBook Air without it dropping frames. What? Really? I need to see that to believe it. To be honest, I got to see that. And the second thing is there's no fan. You can do that without a fan. So you're telling me the M1 can optimize it that well so you can do that and not have it overheat and like blow up in front of you. I need to see this to believe it. I'm pretty sure you'll get a percentage of those people that are willing to move over depending on how their Air is spec'd out. But no, I'm actually very impressed with it. Now, the next Mac that they revealed was one that I was actually very surprised to see, and that was the Mac Mini. I did not expect it to be revealed here. To be honest, I thought that was like maybe a year or 2 out, like towards the end of the transition that they were going to reveal the Mac Mini, but hey, here we are. The Mini CPU is up to 3 times faster, and the GPU is up to 6 times faster. And in an interesting move, they got rid of 2 Thunderbolt ports on the new Mac Mini. Now, I'm not sure why you would do that because I don't really understand the logic behind that. I have a theory, but I'll explain that a little bit later on. Also, they got rid of the 10 gigabit Ethernet port. Again, not sure why, but it ties into my theory. It's really on a limb, but who knows? There might be some truth to it. I don't know. The price point starts at $699 in the US, and in Canada, that is $899. So it's a little bit cheaper than before, which is a good thing. One of the things I didn't understand is when they were kind of pushing the whole, you can connect your Apple Pro display XDR, like you're really gonna go and spend that much money on display when you bought a Mac Mini. Like the reason why you bought a Mac Mini is because of the cost. It was cheaper. They made it $100 cheaper. Great. But you're not going to go and buy a Mac Mini and then go and spend a boatload of money on that display. And I think in Canada, it's like $6,300, and that's just for the display. You still need the stand. If you get the stand through Apple, then that's like another $1,200, $1,300. You could get a better computer from Apple for that cost. Like, really? Come on. If you currently own a Mac Mini, I'm not really sure if this will be for you, because it might be a deal breaker if you use at least 3 ports and you use the 10 gigabit Ethernet port. If you use that, then I'm not really sure that this is for you. Hey, I could be wrong. You might be able to make it work, but I'm just looking at the convenience factor, and that is something that isn't really convenient because you took something away that people use. The final one on this list was the MacBook Pro, but the 13-inch. I was a little surprised that they didn't have the 16-inch on display as well, but it ties into my theory again. Now on the 13-inch Pro, the CPU is up to 2.8 times faster, and the GPU is up to 5 times faster. Up to 17 hours of wireless web browsing, up to 20 hours of video playback, and they are promoting it as the longest battery life in a Mac. Because, you know, it's a new year, so they got to do that. They have a studio quality mic array for cleaner audio. And again, with the 720p webcam. Interestingly here, again, they only have 2 Thunderbolt ports. Something's a little fishy there. The Pro starts at $12.99 US, and in Canada, $16.99. They showed off its capabilities by saying that you can play or render, edit, so forth, 8K ProRes on DaVinci Resolve. On a 13-inch MacBook without it like blowing up on you, yeah, that's pretty good. They're really displaying what the M1 can do, and on paper, it sounds amazing. But I have a few reservations. There's something about 2 ports that just I can't get out of my head. MacBook Air, 2 ports, okay, cool. Mac Mini, you got rid of 2 ports, sure. 13-inch MacBook Pro, 2 ports, but you didn't display one that actually has 4. There was no 16-inch MacBook Pro, which has 4 ports. Is there some sort of issue here that you can't connect multiple ports, like 3 or more, with the M1 chip inside the Mac? I'm a little curious there. Also, another thing I have a little bit of reservation of. When you go on Apple's website and you want to configure it, the memory caps out at only 16 gigs. I know it's first gen, so it's going to take some time, but I'm not really sure that it was a good idea to go right out of the gate with just 16 gigs as the max. Am I nitpicking here? Because for power users, for example, with the Pro, 16 gigs might not be enough. I think there are people who do standard bare minimum 32 gigs. I could be wrong there. To do only 16, it's either saying that you're trying to tout how effective the M1 chip is, that at 16, it can just outperform Intel at 32 and higher, or there's just some sort of serious limitation that they cannot get it operating efficiently at 32 gigs and higher. There might be people that will be interested in getting this, and they already put their order down. And I think there's going to be a large section of people who will not be interested in getting any of these 3. I could be completely wrong and off base here, but that's how I'm seeing it. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to cop this right now, or are you guys going to wait? Personally, I'm going to wait until someone buys it and makes a video and tells us exactly what they think about it, because I don't got that YouTube money, so I'll hold off for now. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, hit a like and subscribe to the channel for more. Until next time.